Hi guys, today is Friday, February 26th. There are no updates to speak of for either Rogue One or Episode 8, so I'm going to do this week's vlog by talking about some theories, namely mine. First of all, Luke. I think and hope Luke is going to have a pivotal role in Episode 8 since he didn't have hardly anything to do in Episode 7. He just stared at the camera with this, by the way, with this Oscar-worthy look in his eyes, but he didn't really do anything or say anything. He didn't even pick up the lightsaber. So I think in Episode 8 he is going to be the teacher, the role we've all been wanting to see him in, other than kicking some major Sith butt, since the end of Return of the Jedi. Will we get to see Luke use his lightsaber? I have no idea. I hope so. But if we don't at least see him use the Force, that would be a huge disappointment. But to see him in a teaching role, even if it's the reluctant teacher, which one could imagine after everything that's happened, losing his academy, his nephew turned to the dark side, his brother-in-law dying, not to mention all that other stuff from episodes 4, 5, and 6 piled on top of that. The poor guy's got issues, so I would give him a little bit of leeway if he was kind of reluctant to jump right back into that again. But knowing Luke, the selfless person that he is, and with as attached to his family as he is, I don't see him turning it down, because why else would he be in Episode 8? Leia! She had a fairly minor role in Episode 7. She didn't really have that much to do. It would be nice to see her using the Force in some capacity. Obviously, she didn't become a Jedi. I'm wondering if Luke even trained her at all. I want to see if there's going to be any exposition on that, whether in books, upcoming books. There's another one coming out, Bloodlines, I believe. That one, hopefully, deals with the big three. I hope. Please, 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 please. I don't really have that many ideas for her. But like I said, it would be nice to see her taking a little bit more of an active role, maybe picking up that old blaster again and shooting some people. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. 3PO and R2, I think, are going to have about the same roles as they did in Episode 7. Maybe a little bit bigger. If BB-8 sticks with Poe this time, he'll be involved in whatever Poe is involved in, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, hopefully 3PO and R2 will take their places, providing a little bit of comic relief, but with R2-D2, I honestly don't think we'll see him with 3PO all that much. I think this is going to be like Empire in that the main characters are completely spread out in little groups, not all together. One group here, one group here, one group here, and they're all going to be doing their own thing, and eventually, at the end, they all come together, one way or another. As for the new characters, this is what I think is going to happen to them. Rey, as I said when I mentioned Luke, I honestly think she is going to become Luke's student and learn about the Force. I don't know if she's going to be Luke's daughter or not. I know there's a lot of speculation on that. I really hope she is, because her being a Skywalker would explain about half of the reason she was able to pick up on the Force ridiculously quick in The Force Awakens. And besides that, she looks like a Skywalker, or at least like a Nayberry, because the girl really looks like Padme. It kind of raises the question of, okay, why would Luke leave her there? There's so many different ideas about that. Maybe he thought she was dead, or he did it just to protect her like Obi-Wan and Yoda did by splitting up the twins in Episode 3, just as a matter of, preservation. So, who knows? I hope, honestly, we see Rey fail in some capacity, because she was treading a little bit on Mary Sue territory in Episode 7. She was a little too perfect, a little too quick, and a little bit too skilled. I want to see... Our heroes aren't three-dimensional until we see them fail in some way. I don't want her to die or turn to the dark side, don't get me wrong. But just like Luke did in Episode 5, Rey needs to be confronted with something, in that either she takes a deeper look at herself or her lineage, or gets into a situation where she cannot win. She must better herself in order to face her adversary and come out on top. Okay, as for the other new heroes, Poe Dameron. He was one of my favorite, in fact, my absolute favorite new character from The Force Awakens. He's like a mashup between Luke and Han, because he's a great pilot, he's a good guy, he's thoroughly good guy, totally committed to the Resistance, and he's a people person. He seems like he really cares about people. With his character, I'm sort of wondering where they're going to take him. It would be nice to see him maybe not quite so perfect, kind of like I want Rey to be not necessarily a beaten down hero, but a hero with flaws, because that's what makes them relatable. I'd also like to see more buddy dynamic between Poe and Finn. And speaking of Finn, he's the next character. He got pretty well beat up in episode 7. When we last saw him, he was lying down in a coma, and I don't know whether we're going to see him wake up or see him in the middle of his recovery or afterward. I have no clue, but I can't wait to see what they do with his character. He is definitely the funniest of the new characters. With some of his lines, I was just cracking up. But at least we'll get to see him and Poe again. Those two have got best buddies written all over them. Now, some other people have talked about and debated over whether there might be something else going on. I'm not even going to mention it because there's more than enough people talking about it already. But let's just say I like those two. They're really cool, and they look like they're just going to be, best buddies, kind of like Luke and Han were. My theories as far as the dark side new characters for episode 8 go. Hux, Phasma, and Snoke, I don't really have that many theories on. I can only say I hope Snoke does not have a whole lot of screen time. I hate the guy, and not just because the CGI isn't up to snuff. I just don't like him. He's... ugh. Hux, I hated his character. He was such a snob. I've got this really weird dark wish to see Kylo Ren just bump him off, just kill him outright. I won't exactly cheer when that happens, but at least we won't have to deal with him in episode 9. I'm sorry, that probably sounds terrible, but Phasma did not have a whole lot of screen time, and I can't see why she's coming back. I mean, they tossed her into a garbage compactor. It was bad enough, leaving the fact that we didn't see either Hux or Kylo leaving Starkiller Base before it bit the big one and turned into a miniature star. But to believe that Captain Phasma somehow found her way out of the trash compactor, found out what was happening, and then had time to escape before the thing went nuclear, that's taking suspension of disbelief a little bit too far. So Kylo Ren, the former Ben Solo, as far as his character goes, I have to say this right now, I do not expect him to be redeemed. Why? Darth Vader was considered the second most evil guy in the galaxy. Granted, he did a lot of bad stuff, but the one thing he could not do was kill family. He sort of had a little temper tantrum, got mad at Luke and hurt him, but other than that, he could not do anything to Luke because that was his son. Now, Kylo Ren, on the other hand, he is fully crossed over. He murdered a blood relative, not to mention one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars. So, as far as I'm concerned, the guy's gone. I don't think we're going to see him redeemed. I think we're going to see him get his butt kicked. And for another thing, we already saw the redemption arc with Darth Vader. We don't need to have that done over again. We could see what happens when a guy is just too far gone. And like, maybe Luke ends up having to kill his nephew. We'll see if he'll be able to do that or not. Or maybe Rey does, or something like that. He got pretty well beat up, and I think he's going to be pretty PO'd about that. And he's going to be all too eager to finish his training, like Snoke said. Maybe we'll get to see a little bit of that. Maybe, here's an idea, have a little cut together. Kylo Ren doing a little bit of dark side stuff, Rey doing a little bit of light side stuff, and maybe go back and forth a couple of times. Who knows? Those are my theories and ideas about Episode 8. I have no idea what it's going to be called. It's probably going to be something mentioning the bad guys and an action word, because Episode 2 was Attack of the Clones. The clones would end up being bad in Episode 3. And Episode 5, of course, was The Empire Strikes Back. So maybe this is going to be something mentioning the First Order or the dark side, since this trilogy started with The Force Awakens. Maybe this is like dark side. I have no idea. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little discourse. If you have your own ideas, family friendly please, no swearing, post them in the comments below. Click like, subscribe, whatever you want. I will try and keep these Star Wars videos coming, but until next time, this is the Clumsy Jedi signing off. Bye guys!
So let's go to the movie. Cause it's all
extra butter.
the time.
Join the dark side.
May the Force be with you.